Alright, hello and welcome, fellow users of the internet. My name is Noah and you're watching AsFit Merchants. Okay, so move something right fast. Sorry. The Lord of the Rings pre-release is upon us, and I was thinking about how to do a set review. And there are lots of bigger, better set reviews out there, but they all take a whole lot of really long time, and we just go over and over and over the cards. And it made me think about something I learned in one of my college writing classes. And the teacher told us, you need to show, not tell. And instead of just telling you guys what the A's through the F's are, we're going to make a tier list right quick. And hopefully this will be a little bit faster way of doing a, limited review guide. And also, at the end, you'll just be able to screenshot the end of the video and look at it and not have to, sit through like 14 hours of podcast like I do trying to get ready for a pre-release. Alright, so we're going to start out in the color black, and our first card is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and give Bitter Downfall an A+. Sorry that it cut the very top of all the card arts off, don't know why that happened. Spent way too much time getting ready for it to try and fix it that easy now. But an A, assuming you guys pretty much know how tier list works, A is really good, F is really bad. A is, of course, having enough of these cards in your sealed pool is going to draw you to the color. We're going to be primarily talking about sealed, since I think pre-release is going to be how most everybody interacts with this product, and sealed is going to be any of the RCQs that my team is still going to be interested in going to. And so, yeah. Bitter Downfall is a removal spell. If you can get this cost reduction, it's absolutely amazing. Destroying their creature and them losing 2 life is helping you not lose the game and helping you also win the game. Alright, so the Black Breath, I think we're just going to give, in all honesty, I'm going to give this card a D. Only killing 1/1s is not very effective. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 till end turn. The ring tempts you. The ring tempts you. I'm going to rate at maybe 1/4 or 1/8 of drawing a card, and even then I think I'm being a little generous. D, this is dirt. I wouldn't never run a copy of this spell. It might work out, but I doubt it's going to be that cool. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and give Call of the Ring an A. Call of the Ring is 1 and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. So what's really cool about this is you could play this and another card that says the ring tempts you in 1 turn and immediately pay your 2 life and draw your new card. Paying 2 life can be, it's a lot, but it's drawing another card. And so you get to ramp up your ring pretty quick. I don't think any of the ring abilities say gain life, but it'll help you start filtering through your deck and having some good combats. Call the Ring is NA. You would play it in pretty much any black deck you opened. Okay. Kirith Ungol Patrol is, I think, just going to be a D. A C is, to explain why it's only a D, I'm going to need to explain what a C is right now. A C is pretty much just a middle ground card. It is either just a good card to have in your curve. They might not be that exciting, but it's limited. Your deck's just going to be full of them. Cirith Ungol Patrol, on the other hand, it's 5 mana. It's 4 colorless and a black for just our 4/5 orc. It doesn't really get into combat. It does block okay, but it doesn't have any evasion or any special stuff going on. Paying 1 to sacrifice another creature, draw a card, and then create a food could be pretty good, but I'm not really sure how many of your decks are going to have that many expendable tokens laying around that you're going to, block, tap, sack this, draw your card, make your food. I'm just not really sure that the mana intensiveness and the stats are really paying off. But if you wanted to say this is a C-, I would believe you. There was A+, A-, A, B+, blah, 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 all through here, but I didn't think it looked very good for making this video. So I didn't put them on there, but if you wanted to call this a C- to a C, I could maybe agree with you, but my initial impressions is this card is going to underperform. Our next card, Claim the Precious, on the other hand, 1 colorless, 2 black, sorcery, destroy target creature the ring tempts you, is... I'm going to go ahead and give this an A+. It's just so efficient. We'll just call it an A. You know, this is an A+ because it's an uncommon and it's really good. This is still just an A. If you wanted to call this an A+, you'd probably be right. You're definitely never going to play a black deck and not put this first pickable premium removal spell in it. It's always going to be really good. If you get enough of these in your seal pool, you're going to want to play black, and you're going to probably be correct. So, claim the pressure gives an A. Put it in your black deck. Alright, okay, here's our first C. Dunland Creebrain. I could maybe buy this being a B-, but I'm just going to give it a C. It's, 3 mana, 2 colorless and a black for a creature, bird, horror, flying. When Dunland Creebrain enters the battlefield, amass orcs 2. That's, you either make an army token and put 2+1/+1 counters on it, or if you have an orc army, put 2+1/+1 counters on it, essentially. And this is a 1/1. You'd much rather this be a 2/2 flyer and just amass 1, but that's not what you got. So, if you're not over flush on 3 drops in your black deck, you're going to go ahead and put this in there. It's 2 bodies for 3 mana and a little bit of flying with evasion. It's nothing to write home about, but it's just, part of having a functional deck. Easterling Vanguard, however, I'm probably going to give a B. At 1 colorless and a black for a human warrior. When it dies, amass orcs, and it's a 2/1. This is going to go ahead and make a B. It's a good 2/1. Making an orc is going to be a relevant ability. You need 2 drops. Your limited decks are allowed to be skewed to low values over high values. If you accidentally showed me a limited deck with like 18 2-drops in it, I'd say, you know what, it should happen sometimes, go for it. Showed me a deck with 18 4-drops, I'm just going to have to tell you you're never going to win a game. Okay, Golem's Bite. I kind of want to give an A+. I don't know if that's overvaluing removal, but this card is just ludicrously efficient and good because, it always kills one of their... It's probably going to trade up on mana because there are lots of 2 toughness 3-drops. And the fact that you can eventually get value out of it later by exiling from your graveyard and the ring tempting you, I really want to give this an A+. But then again, if I gave that an A+, maybe I should just give Claim the Precious an A+. I don't know, you've seen it in both. Maybe I'm just going to give this an A. Not a whole lot of point arguing about that. Golem, Patient Plotter. B. 1 colorless, 1 black, legendary creature, halfling horror. When Golem Patient Plotter leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Sacrifice a creature, return Golem from your graveyard to your hand. Activate another sorcery. I think you're probably a lot more interested in just having a 3/1 and jamming into combat, or maybe making him your ring bearer and trying to have him get killed off and make your next ring bearer better. Don't know how many times you're going to want to sacrifice one of your creatures just to have this back in your hand, but stranger things have happened. Alright. Gorebag of Morgul. 1 colorless and a black for a legendary creature, Orc Soldier. Whenever a goblin or orc you control deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, choose one, draw a card, or create a treasure token. Sacrificing a whole creature for one of these abilities is going to be a little bit tough to do, and that's why we're only going to give it a C. But Orc Soldier is a relevant creature type. Your decks are going to want to have more legendary creatures in them because it helps trigger off the Legends Matters cards. It's definitely a C. I could almost be talking to B, but for right now we're just going to leave it as C. Gothmog, Morgul Lieutenant, legendary creature, human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, amass 1 orcs. Creature tokens you control have Death Touch. This, however, is a B. All of your tokens in whatever archetype you're in having Death Touch is just amazing. And a 3-mana 3/3 that brings either a 1/1 or a +1/+1 counter on another target creature is great stats, great value. It's a B. And the hits just keep on coming with Grima Wormtongue. 2 colorless and a black for a legendary creature, human advisor. Your opponents can't gain life. That's relevant text with how many food and lifelink cards there are. Tap, sacrifice another creature. Target player loses 1 life. If the sacrificed creature was legendary, amass orcs 2. For a 1/4, I'm going to go ahead and give this card an A. I'm probably massively coping, but I've always loved this kind of ability. I just think it's doing a whole lot for only 3 mana. You want legendary creatures. You want all this. It's an A. Grond the Gatebreaker. 3 colorless and a black for a legendary artifact vehicle. Trample as long as it's your turn and you control an army. Grond the Gatebreaker is an artifact creature, crew 3. I think I might have valued this higher earlier. I'm going to give it a B. This card is pretty good. There are some fail rates, though. Your opponent can just, kill your army and then turn off your vehicle. But crew 3 is not as much as it could be. It is still a lot, though. Normally, for vehicles to be good, their crew values have to be pretty low. 3 is not too much, but paying 3 power, playing a 3-drop, tapping it immediately, getting in for your 5 trample is not bad, but I don't think it's that amazing. Haunt of the Dead Marshes is a D. Haunt of the Dead Marshes, 1 black for a creature, Nightmare Elf. It's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1, pay 2 and a black, return it from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped, only activate if you control a legendary creature. This is not a very high impact 1-drop. I don't think you're going to be excited to have very many of these cards, have any copies of this card in your deck at all. The other thing is it's the blue and green creatures are kind of what care about you scrying. The green creatures actually, are what really care about you scrying. I don't think this card's going to help that out a whole lot. I think it's secretly a black, green, gold card, and even then it's not going to be that exciting. Alright. Isildur's Fateful Strike. Legendary instant. You have to have a legendary creature to cast it, but I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but when the ring tempts you and you choose your ring bearer, that card does become legendary, so you should always have access to a legend. Should be pretty easy. So we destroy target creature. If its controller has more than 4 cards in their hand, they exile cards from the hand equal to the difference. I'm going to go ahead and give it an A. You're not going to cut this card in your black decks. If you have a D, it is just in your overall count of good black cards. It's removal. It is funny, though. In a draft, I would heavily consider taking Bitter Downfall or Claim the Precious over this card. It's not going to waste too many words on it. It's a kill spell that might have some upside, but a lot of the time it's just going to be a 4-mana murder whenever you've almost got better options that are easier to cast and do more in this format. It's crazy. Yeah, no. And now I actually feel more solidified in giving Bitter Downfall an A+, because I think that Bitter Downfall is just better than this rare. So an uncommon that is just better than a different rare in the set that try and do the same thing, A+. Alright, Lash of Balrog. I think I'm only going to actually give Lash of Balrog sacrifice. Well, Lash of Balrog, let's read it. I know I've already got an B, but Lash of Balrog is a black as an additional cast to cost this spell, sacrifice a creature, or pay 4, destroy target creature. So just getting to sacrifice one of your, little tokens, because you make a lot of spirits in black-white, you make the armies in the Grixis colors. I could maybe see some arguments for A, but I don't think it's definitely not as good as Claim the Precious. It's definitely not as good as Golem's Bite. It is a pretty good card. I think I would probably give it a B+ if I had B+ in here. So, but I'm still going to leave it in B. But B, yeah, B for Balrog. Lauderdale, Sackville, Baggins. I think this rare is just a C. It's not a D because in limited, 3-mana 2/3 flash is 2/3 flash menace. Actually, is by no means vanilla tech. That passes the vanilla test. You're gonna attack with this card okay after they, tap out and only leave themselves with 1 blocker or something. And this ability for she enters the battlefield and you exile a target card from an opponent's graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, then create X treasure tokens where X the exile card's power. Yeah, exile target creature card. And that'll be pretty relevant. Like somehow you, play your 2/2, they attack with their 2/2, you play this, make 2, have X as 6 mana on turn 4. That's pretty clutch. I like this card at C. We might be drifting towards B. Actually, it's a rare. I've talked myself into it. This is a B. March from the Black Gate. 1 colorless and a black for an enchantment. When March from the Black Gate enters the battlefield, and whenever an army you control attacks, amass Orcs 1. I think I'm just going to put this in C. You could maybe make it as a B because it does do some stuff, but I could see plenty of worlds where you play this on 2, they have a removal spell, and you just don't find another way to make an army anytime soon, and all it's doing is adding a devotion to your black. So that's the reason I'm only going to put it in C. I could hear some arguments for B, but we're just going to do that right now. Mirkwood Bats. 3 and a black for a 2/3 flyer flying. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. I'm going to put this in D, mostly just because this isn't a very efficient card. 2/3 for 4 mana is just not that great. This is definitely some relevant abilities. Getting to fly over some stuff and maybe drain some life on making and sacking tokens is cool, but I think that Modern Limited in this set in particular is like not really looking for a card like this to save us. Alright, Mordor Muster. Colorless and a black for a sorcery. You draw a card and you lose 1 life, Amass Orcs 1. I think this card's amazing. I should almost give this card an A, but not quite. I love cards like this. We've seen them before, just these 2 mana spells that give you card advantage on turn 2, help you smooth out your hand, and the Amass Orcs 1 makes sure that it always gives you some board presence. This card's great. I almost want to put it in A, but B is very respectable. Very high end of B. Mordor Muster, great card. Put it in your black decks. Take the card. Mordor Trebuchet. 2 colorless and a black for an artifact wall. It's a 1/4 with Defender. Whenever you attack with 1 or more goblins on cards, create a 2/1 colorless construct artifact creature token with flying named Ballistic Boulder that's tapped and attacking. Sacrifice a token at the end of combat. Do I want to put this in A? I could want to put this in A. Defender, no. Okay, it is a B. It is also a very good B, just like Mordor Muster. It's not quite an A, I don't think, only being a 1-mana defender. It requires you to, be attacking profitably already, or at least being able to attack a parity to make this 2/1. That might not always be happening. It's still a good card. It's definitely not just a dirt card. I like Mordor Trebuchet. Put it in deck. Morgul Knife Wound. This might be another A. This card's just really good. I think it's actually almost better than Balrogs because it does in fact. Alright, let's actually read it. 1 colorless and a black, an enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanter creature gets -3/-0 and has at the beginning of your upkeep exile this creature unless you pay 2. So if your opponent's at a low life total, they have to just exile their own creature for 2 mana because they can't afford to just keep losing 2 life every time. In early parts of the game, if they don't have any sack outlets or any good way to block, they're just gonna exile it instead of paying their 2 life. So just paying 2 mana and your opponent exiling their own creature is really good. I think this card's gonna overperform. And even understanding that, if they play a 7/7 and you put this on this, it's still going to deal some damage to you. But 2 mana is just such a low investment. It basically, kills anything with 4 power or less. Nasty End, I am going to give a D. I could almost give this card an F. 1 colorless and a black for as an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. If the sacrifice creature was a legendary, draw 3 cards instead. This card, I guess, is what I'd call begrudgingly playable. We've been seeing a lot of cards that cost 1 black that is just sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. But even that card has varied greatly on how good it performs in limited environment. And so having to pay 1 more mana all the time, and then every once in a while you get to sack your Ring Bearer and draw 3 cards, it's just not going to be that amazing. I don't think. I could maybe be wrong, and I've talked myself back into it. This card's going to stay an F. The Nazgul, however, A. Oh, and by the way, just right fast, I've not been thinking about it, but these cards are not in order in where they're in the tiers at. That kind of wouldn't make any sense because it doesn't matter. If you get enough of the A's in black, you're going to play all of the A's over all of your B's and C's and D's, so on and so forth, and including curve considerations. But the Nazgul. Two colorless and a black for a creature, Wraith Knight, Death Touch. When Nazgul enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. When the ring tempts you, you put a +1/+1 counter on each Wraith you control. A deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgul. Okay, so effectively, since the This enters the battlefield, and then the ring tempts you. And when the ring tempts you, get a +1/+1. This is 3 mana for a 2/3 Death Touch. That's amazing. Getting to make this your Ring Bearer is really good because it'll have Death Touch, and it has all them other cool words that the Ring Bearer gets to have. And then you get, as the ring tempts you more and more, you get to keep putting +1/+1 counters on it. This card's really cool. And I didn't do a Wraith check, but there's this, and I think, well, we already know it's an A, so as we go down, we know. Okay, yeah, there's a mythic rare that's a Wraith, so unfortunately, at least in black, there's not that many Wraiths, but as you watch other set reviews and look at cards, just keep an eye out for Wraith. Every time you see Wraith, that makes Nazgul go up like another 0.5%. So, Oath of the Grey Host. I think I'm actually going to make this card an F, because, 3 colorless and a black for a Saga. Chapter 1, you and target opponent each create a food token. Not very great. You're going to pay 4 mana and not put any power or toughness into the battlefield to get any card advantage. It's kind of lame. Each opponent loses 3 life, create a treasure token. If they're at 3, maybe that'd be good, but it's probably not going to happen. And then Chapter 3, create 3 tapped 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Having 3 tapped flyers on turn 7 is nothing to write home about. This card sucks. Don't put it in your deck. Alright, next up we have another Saga. 1 ring to rule them all. 2 colorless and 2 black. The ring tempts you, then each player mills cards equal to your ring bearer's power. Okay, as long as you have a creature and you get to, mill them for some value, that'll be okay. Destroy all non-legendary creatures. That would be kind of cool, except there are going to be a lot of legends in this set. There are a whole lot of uncommon legends, and then your opponent's ring bearer is always going to be a legend, so it's going to miss more than you think. But if you killed 2 creatures with this, that'd be pretty neat. And then Chapter 3, finally, each opponent loses 1 life for each creature card in that player's graveyard. That's kind of middling. I think I'm just going to give this card a C. It's pretty cool. I'd put it in most of my decks. Most of my black decks, that is. I don't think it's a reason that you should play black, though, by any means. If you're already playing it, it won't be too embarrassing to put this card in your deck and find out how it does. This card, however, is the best card in the set, almost hands down. Orcish Bowmaster, a solid A+, for very many of the reasons. Orcish Bowmasters, 1 colorless and a black, for a creature Orc Archer. Flash. When Orcish Bowmaster enters the battlefield, and whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmaster deals 1 damage to any target, then amass Orcs 1. This card, with no assistance from your opponent, is 2 mana, flash, put 2 points of power into the battlefield and deal 1 damage to any target. Pretty good. It always picks off 1 toughness creatures, and that's amazing. You could even pick off 2, kill it with Orcish Bowmasters, block with your new amass. You even somehow, if your opponent was somehow attacking you with 3 1 toughness creatures, you just pay 2 mana and kill all of them, and that'd be great. However, if your opponent ever puts an ability on the stack that would let them draw more than 1 card, then you respond with Orcish Bowmaster and just massacre them. There are lots. I think there are multiple commons in blue that do that at sorcery speed. So yeah, they play one of their silly sorceries, and then you could almost play. Like, I think there's more than one that say draw 3 cards. There's the Scry 2, draw 2, and then there's the Island Cycler, which is pay 5, draw 3. If they played one of those cards, and you got to just pay 2 mana and lightning bolt them or kill one of their creatures and then make a 3/3 or 4/4, like, I can't imagine you would lose that game after you resolve this. And on top of that, Orcish Bowmasters is, I think, the 2nd most expensive card in the entire set. So all those come together to Orcish Bowmasters being an A+. It's amazing. Please, if you get a chance to play with it, just do it. I don't think you'll regret it. Moving on to Orcish Medicine, this card is a D. 1 colorless and a black for an instant. Target creature gains your choice of flank, and indestructible until on a turn. Amass Orcs 1. You need a creature for this card to be effective. Your card has to be as good for the indestructible part to work. The lifelink, I don't really know what that's for exactly. And Amassing Orcs 1 is just not that amazing of an ability. I think this card's just definitely going to underperform. We've seen cards like it before. It's not been that great. Next up, we have Sam's Desperate Rescue. 1 black for a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. The ring tempts you. Solid C. I could almost be talking to B, but not quite, I don't think. The ring tempting you for just 1 black mana, if you've already got a creature on the battlefield, definitely helps out. And 1 black for Raise Dead, very efficient, passes the vanilla test. Assuming that your card quality is not abysmal and you've got like more than 10 in your deck, this card should be pretty good. Alright, Sauron, the Necromancer, 3 colorless, 2 black, legendary creature, Avatar Horror, Menace. Whenever Sauron, the Necromancer, attacks, exile target creature card from your graveyard, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 black wraith with Menace. At the beginning of your next end step, exile that token unless Sauron is your ring bearer. This card's ludicrous for limited. It is not too much to ask. I mean, paying 5 mana for a 4/4 Menace, you would play that card a lot of the time, and then all this text is amazing. If you actually get to untap and attack with this and get any kind of value from their graveyard, you're just off to the races. Good A+, great reason to be in black. If you open one of these, you're probably going to play black. This card's amazing. Shadow of the Enemy, another black mythic. 3 colorless and 3 black. Exile all creature card from target player's graveyard. You may cast spells from among those cards as long as they remain in exile, and mana of any type can be spent to cast them. This card is an F. It is an F, maybe even an F-. This card is terrible. If you are going to tap 6 mana on turn 6, you really need to be affecting the board, playing some ridiculous card that can win you the game or something. This card is not that. You're going to pay 6 mana and then die almost immediately. This card, really bad. Please don't play it. I cannot. No. Like, this is not a card that good players are going to play. This card sucks. Shelob's Ambush, to follow up after that, is 1 black for an instant. Target creature gets +1/+2 and gain Death Touch until in turn. Create a food token. I like solid C for this. The giving Death Touch for just 1 mana and this amount of boosting stats +1/+2, you could actually save a smaller creature and maybe kill a bigger creature. Like, you attack your 2/2, they're 3/3, they block, you make it a 3/4. You're gonna win that combat sometimes, or even something. You can use your imagination. Sometimes it's just always going to make your card at least kill their card in the combat. You 2-for-1 yourself a little bit, but maybe your creature already drew you a card or something. Crazier things have happened. And I think green-black in particular cares about having food tokens. So black cards that make food are kind of secretly supposed to go in the black-green archetype or the black-white archetype. Good little card. You shouldn't be too embarrassed to have some number of these. Probably not more than 1, though. Snarling Wolf. I'll give this a D. I don't want to give it a D or a C. Let's start out in D and we'll see how I feel. Snarling Warg. 3 colorless and a black for a creature wolf. It's got Menace. As long as you control a goblin or an orc, Snarling Warg gets +1/+0. So 4 mana, 4/4 Menace, maybe. Okay. Nah, okay, I'm still pretty confident in D. 4 is not all that amazing. We're just going to keep moving on. Alright. The Torment of Golem. 3 colorless and a black. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Amass Orcs 2. I think, unfortunately, I have to give this card a D. We had a version of this card in War of the Spark that was 2 colorless and a black. So just 3 mana for this ability and amass the black zombie army 1. And that card was pretty good. However, I think at 4 mana, you start to lose a lot. 30% more. And even though you get 50% more creature, I don't think it's going to be that relevant most of the time. A lot of the time, by the time you're getting to 4 mana, your opponent, like, imagine they were on the play and they got to, dump their hand. They just curved out and played their 5-drop on turn 5. And then you go to play this. No, it's still, I don't think this card's going to be that amazing, unfortunately. Troll of Khazad-dûm, 5 colorless and a black for a 6/5 creature troll. It has can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures, so it has like menace plus, menace more. But the really important thing is it has swamp cycling 1. It's so for 1 mana you can discard this card, search your library for a swamp card, and put it in your hand. This card is just super flexible. 1 mana just to always fix you. Helps you splash. It helps splash itself. Because if you accidentally just draw your swamp, then you get to cast your troll later. Card's just good. Maybe A is a little unfair because it's a reason to draw you into black, but it's just such a free source. It's a free source in all your other decks that could make any of these cards make a different deck you want to put them in. I'm going to give it an A. If you really disagree and think it's a B, redo the tier list and put it in B yourself. I trust you. Uruk Hall Berserker, solid C. Enters the battlefield. The ring. It's 2 colorless and a black for an Orc Berserker. 3/2. Enters the battlefield. The ring tempts you. Very vanilla. I mean, pretty close to vanilla for modern Magic anymore in Fire design, especially a modern power level set. Just your bread and butter. You're going to have enough of these in your black deck. You're going to be okay enough with playing them. Yeah, I think, and I'll say the same for Voracious Fellbeast. 4 colorless and 2 black for a 4 mana 4/4 flyer. That's encroaching on almost not being good enough. But when it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature, and you create a food token for each creature sacrificed this way. They're probably going to sacrifice a token or something poopy, but if they sacrificed anything halfway real that they had to pay some mana for, that's not going to be too bad. And having a food token will help you do some other stuff and maybe gain some life and make the game go longer and give you enough time to get over the finish line and kill them with this card. So C for the Hellbeast. And to finish out, we're going to finish out black really strong with the Witch King of Angar, 3 colorless, black for our legendary creature, Wraith Noble with flying. It's a 5/3. Whenever 1 or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt damage to you this turn. The ring tempts you. Discard a card, Witch King of Angar, gains indestructible until end of turn, untap it. This card's ludicrous. It's a mythic rare. It kills them. It makes it harder for them to kill you because when they attack and you just don't block, then they have to sacrifice one of their creatures, or you just you could maybe manage to block and only let their best creature through, and then they have to sacrifice it, and then they're just going to be in a world of hurt. And of course, being able to save itself because you just discard one of your land cards and give it indestructible cards. Ludicrously good. It's not unkillable, but it's pretty close. Great card at A+. Alright, so we're going to unscroll just a little bit. Get our Fs into the thing here. Yeah, so let's see if I can't maybe put in a timestamp to let you know. If you needed to, you could just screenshot this and just look at this tier list over and see, what are the good black cards overall that you want to be putting in your deck in this current sealed format. Am I going to make a whole tier list overall for all the cards? I don't know if that would have very good context. But either way, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you find it helpful. Hope it helps you do better in your upcoming pre-release or Lord of the Rings Sealed RCQs. I'll be trying to follow this up with red here soon, and then we'll try and get through all the colors. I was worried that I was going to think this looked really bad, but I don't think it looked that bad at all, actually, now that I'm finished with it. Please like this video if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and share this content with anybody who you think might enjoy it. It really does help the channel out a ton. And again, thank you all so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Goodbye.